Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 4 men shot and killed in downtown Kingston. Police officer injured in attack. No need to panic. Medical expert reassures Jamaicans about AstraZeneca vaccine. And later in sports, double Olympic sprint champion pleased with work under new coach. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pula and here are the details. 4 men were shot and killed in downtown Kingston Wednesday morning. A police officer was also shot and injured in the incident. According to reports, sometime after 1, the police were in the vicinity of Orange Street when they heard gunshots. When they went to investigate, they were confronted by gunmen and a shootout ensued. 5 firearms, including 2 M16 rifles, were seized.
They intervened and subsequently men traveling in a high-six motor car opened gunfire at them, resulting in a running gun battle. Police pursued the men, was being fired on. The car with the men eventually crashed on King Street vicinity, Charles Street. 6 men, numbering about 6, came out, opening gunfire at the police. The police returned the fire. 3 men fell there, each with a firearm.
No need to panic. That assurance from one public health specialist to some Jamaicans who have taken the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine. This comes after the drug company says it will be withdrawing the medication from off the market due to side effects. Jamaica started administering the AstraZeneca vaccine in March 2021. Around that time, the European Medicines Agency EMA announced it was investigating reports of side effects, specifically blood clots, that prompted some European countries to suspend use of the vaccine. But it was still deemed safe. Fast forward to the present, and the company that manufactures the drug is withdrawing it from the market, citing that it caused rare and sometimes fatal blood clots. But should persons who have taken the vaccine be concerned? We put this question to public health specialist Dr. Orville Nemard.
The side effect risk of the vaccine was associated with the period around being vaccinated. So persons who receive the vaccine now 2-3 years later really don't have an issue with respect to the side effect profile which has been identified.
Dr. Nemard further explains that the decision to bring any drug to the market would be based on the risk and benefit analysis.
It was known then that some 30 to 50% of persons who got severe COVID got thrombosis. That's nearly a half of persons who got COVID disease. The risk of the thrombocytopenic syndrome from the vaccine was that 4 out of maybe 1 million persons would have had this syndrome. So the risk-benefit was decidedly in favor of the vaccine.
AstraZeneca in its release said with the rise of new coronavirus variants, the demand had shifted to newer updated vaccines. Dr. Nemard says this is not an unusual approach.
We're seeing Omicron variants and the daughters thereof as opposed to the original Wuhan strain, the Alpha strain, the Delta strain. That risk-benefit has changed such that the risk of the vaccine is perhaps now too close to whatever benefits there may be. So it's entirely in order for a change in approach to the administration of the AstraZeneca.
So is this a win for anti-vaxxers?
I know the naysayers will feel vindicated in terms of their initial opposition, but the data really was heavily in favor of its use and heavily supported the fact that it reduced hospitalizations and deaths by significant numbers.
Of note, the Ministry of Health continues to urge Jamaicans to take the COVID-19 vaccine. The data wasn't readily available about the current take-up rate. We also sought a comment from Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton about the withdrawal of AstraZeneca, but he said he will have to first consult with his clinical team. Teachers from across Jamaica are being recognized today for their hard work and dedication to the education sector. But according to the Jamaica Teachers Association, despite this, there are still challenges being faced by educators. In his Teachers' Day message, the association's president, Leighton Johnson, says these issues must be addressed urgently.
The association will continue to advocate for improved salaries, benefits, and the conditions of service. We recognize the importance of fair compensation and conducive work environments in ensuring the continued excellence of our education system, a system that is being held together by you, our dedicated teachers.
Mr. Johnson says the JTA will not stop until the issues are resolved in the interest of the teachers.
We will engage the relevant stakeholders to advocate for policies that prioritizes the welfare of teachers and enhances the quality of the Jamaican education system. Your dedication, resilience, and passion for teaching inspires us all. On this special day, I encourage you to take pride in our profession.
There is a call for more public and private sector entities to implement sexual harassment policies in workplaces. The call comes from President of the St. Catherine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dennis Robotham. Speaking on TVJ Smile Jamaica Wednesday, Mr. Robotham says some businesses are still unaware of the consequences of breaching the law. They have until June 30 to become compliant, but Mr. Robotham is proposing an additional 4 months to get businesses compliant.
They are knowledgeable that there's some law being brought into force. But they are not totally aware because, I don't think it is that publicized, or the education platform is not wide enough for them to understand the ramifications of it. So that's why I'm saying we need a little more time to ensure that, everybody is on board. So, not only employee, of course, needs the whole thing to be understood.
He also wants the government to consider offering a policy template to assist businesses struggling to interpret the provisions of the law.
As I say, reading the policy and the laws as it stands, we don't have the legal technicality in the office, or so to speak, to deal with it. So it will be guided. That's why I was saying, a template, that's something that could be used as a general rule throughout the businesses, that this is something that we ought to deal with. And we probably need to have some more meetings with businesses, having more education, that sort of thing would enhance it in a total way.
It's the largest budget we have had to craft. That's according to the Director of Corporate Services of Portmore Municipal Corporation, Courtney Campbell. He was commenting on the municipal corporation's budget for the financial year 2024-2025.
The Portmore municipality continues to grow with several housing and commercial developments. This has led to an increase in the municipal corporation's budget for services for the 2024-2025 financial year. Director of Corporate Services, Courtney Campbell, provided details at a recent meeting.
This is what the municipality intends to do over the next year. It's the largest budget that the municipality has had to craft, with a total expenditure of $898,585,874, almost $1 billion. And the total revenue, $798,333,314. And the question I know will come, what about that $100,252,560?
He further explained why the adjustments were necessary.
What I think is more significant to the residents is how we break down what really affects them. And that has to do with the infrastructure development. So the roads, the drains, the bushing, etc., 155.3. There was a mandate from the citizens at that time that bushing is of quite importance to them, because at that time the mosquito situation was a problem. But give thanks That's no longer a problem in Portmore.
The municipality, he says, will also seek help from the Ministry of Local Government.
Well, we collect from the Ministry of Local Government on a monthly basis what we call the motor vehicle licenses, and there's an expectation that we will get $285 million for this 24-25. The property tax is $405 million. We do not get that $405 million. We're lucky if we get even $2 million monthly.
He further revealed that a local sustainable development plan for the municipality has been completed and will be launched on May 20. Nakinski Robinson, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Bank of Jamaica says that there were 407,534 credit cards in circulation as at November 2023. That represented a 6.2% increase compared to the end of November 2022. In its annual report, the central bank says 33.58 million credit card transactions were processed by deposit-taking institutions valued at $893.52 billion Jamaican dollars. These figures represented a decline in volumes of 5.6%, but the overall value increased by 10.7% relative to the same period in 2022. Further afield, President Joe Biden has announced a new Microsoft facility at a campaign event in Wisconsin. The tech company is planning to invest $3.3 billion to open a new artificial intelligence center in Racine. According to the company, construction of the building would create more than 2,000 union jobs. Microsoft also aims to create 2,000 permanent jobs at the site over time. The new plant is being built at Foxconn's abandoned electronics factory. 6 years ago, the Trump administration announced a $10 billion investment by the tech manufacturer with the promise to bring 13,000 jobs to the area, but that plan never materialized. And that's it for the Business Roundup. I'm Nakinski Robinson.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report. In this evening's Health Report, we look at overuse injuries.
For example, we talked about the young people with their heads down in the phone, but also typists who type 8 hours a day, and cashiers of supermarkets who are inputting information into the cash register 8 hours a day. That can cause a problem in the neck, which is usually diagnosed as carpal tunnel syndrome. Sometimes people get surgery on the wrist, but they need to know the problem was never in the wrist, the problem is in the neck. So you want to correct that, and the carpal tunnel problem should go away without any type of surgery or anything specifically right for the wrist itself.
That's the Health Report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. Let your legs rest comfortably with your feet flat on the floor or on a footrest. Place the keyboard close to you so that you don't have to reach for it. And be sure to take breaks about every 30 to 60 minutes. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has announced $578 million in humanitarian, development and economic assistance to support partner countries in the Caribbean and other countries. The aid will help communities respond to urgent humanitarian needs, expand lawful pathways, and support the regularization and integration of migrants. The aid includes over $376 million through the Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration, and nearly $83 million through the United States Agency for International Development. On the international scene, Israel's defense minister said its military operation in Rafah will continue until Hamas is eliminated from the southern city and the entire Gaza Strip, or until the first hostage returns. Israeli airstrikes killed at least 27 people, including 9 children, in Rafah since Monday evening. The development comes as ceasefire and hostage talks resumed in Cairo Wednesday. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Hal Shane Burke.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jordan Fort.